I'm really, really excited for this next world stage discussion. So I think this one's going to be really fun because the topic. I got my red lipstick spicy. I'm ready to be spicy.
Spicy lips. Yeah.
Yes. I after everything that's happened in the past, has it been a week already with Iran and
Yeah.
all of that? And how
I'm flying.
crazy, I gotta say this, how crazy was it that in our last world stage discussion, we talked about how Trump was talking about Iran and that he was pretty much alluding to possibly doing stuff
Mm-hmm.
with Iran. And then what
Right.
happened, that was the night we recorded. And then the next day, the United States of America.
It happened. Yep. We
Yeah.
bombed them.
Yep. So that was kind of crazy. It was like a
Mhm.
prophecy.
Or planning. Hello. Like we always say, right? It's all planned out.
It was crazy. Called it.
They plan it and then they make it happen.
Mhm. What I'm seeing from people on social media is wackadoodle. Like cheering it on.
Do you know why, Michelle? Because they're under the spell.
Yeah.
Totally under the spell.
They're under the Trump spell and he can do no wrong, right?
Like,
Daddy
just
Trump.
it's just like JW, you know, this is the savior, and people have drawn a line. Like they can see everything else, but not beyond this line. Nope, don't go there. Don't go to the Trump line because no, everything he does is different.
Right. And then we come and we bring receipts. How is he different? How is he different? He literally has done everything the same as Biden's, Clinton's, Bush's, Obama. Okay? First term, I understand why people got tricked. He did look and behave different, and he also acted like something out of The Apprentice. And I watched that show. I like that show.
Yeah,
You're
I
fired.
liked that show too.
Right. We like that about Trump. Okay. So he seemed like that throughout the whole first term, right? Very, very like fake news and very just like high energy, right? And then
All part of the psychology of getting people on board.
And they made us think the economy was great and everything felt, oh, isn't this great? And then
No
they threw
wars.
Oh yeah, because he's the president of no war. And then, of course, they threw Biden in and it made us all go crazy. And then people begged for Trump to come in. And as we know, once Trump got in, he's a whole different person right now.
Yeah.
And these same people that said, look at him, he didn't promote war, he's a no war president. Now, these same people, and this is what I just am like, whoa, these same people are cheering on what he's doing right now, or what he's alleged doing. Because, of course, you know my views. He's a puppet. He's just doing what he's, ordered to do. He doesn't really have much power. He just looks like he has the face of the power, But I'm saying now they're cheering it on, making excuses for it. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. I would ask them the same thing that I would ask a JW. Like, what would change your mind? What that he would do could change your mind? Like, what is your
line in the sand?
Yeah, what is your line in the sand for this guy? Because he just keeps pushing it out, and
the goalposts.
You can go forever.
He keeps pushing the goalpost out. And like you and I were talking the other day, it's almost like these grown adult megatards. I'm sorry, that's what they are. They are literally like little kids. I think of like little kids who have a father who's not participating in their life, and they promise to be there for Christmas, and then they don't show up, and so then they say, "Oh, don't worry, I'll be there next Saturday for the fishing trip," and then they don't show up, and then they keep making more and more promises. It's like, what is it going to take for you to finally accept that Daddy Trump isn't going to come home?
That's exactly that's like the perfect example, because that kid is just hanging on, waiting, and putting all their hope in their dad, and like, oh, he's not going to disappoint me again. He's not going to do it. Yes, he is, because that's who he is.
Yeah. giving us new dates. What have we heard? There's a new date. Lily said there's a new date coming in July. And now I've heard that there's more transpiring. Obviously, I'm not staying aware with the Q boards.
Me
But
either. I have no idea what they're saying, but
no, because it's
except for
all
what she said.
psyop. Right.
Mhm.
So speaking of Q boards, this is going to get fun for us because we're going to show a clip of, most people know who Jimmy Bell is.
Yeah.
We're gonna show a clip of Joe and Fran's show from last Wednesday, and little birdie told us about this. We have spies too. Okay. Jimmy likes to talk about spies. I've got spies everywhere. We've got spies too, Jimmy. And a little birdie told us that you hopped on to Joe and Fran's, and we're talking about Q, and we were rather intrigued by
We're
what
very
you were,
curious to find out
what you were gonna
what was
say.
going to be said.
Yeah, so let's roll the clip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure others want to see. Now this is at the, where was it? 1 hour and 20-minute mark. So the context of this is a XJW named Apasta Dude apparently is being accused of some things that he said about Jimmy, and he's going to clarify that, and then Jimmy's going to jump on the stage. So here we go.
Apasta Dude, did you say? We don't know if you said this or Jimmy Bell was wondering, did someone say that I said that Q was an ET? Is that what you heard?
No, Jimmy, relax. I didn't say that. I
Okay.
think that
Clarify
Jimmy. All right. What I meant was, to my understanding, based on listening to Jimmy, that he leans into ET, or not ET, Q. I know another person, not Jimmy Bell. There you are, bro. Not Jimmy Bell, that believes things I don't think Jimmy Bell even knows about. And this guy says he knows Q. It's amazing, but he's very odd man and somewhat very occulty. But yeah, Jimmy, don't everybody hear me clearly. I don't know nothing about you and an ET.
I was getting ready to say, that's why I jumped on here. I got off my baseball game to come on here and make a clarification because I don't usually come on here on Wednesday nights, especially after doing 4-hour marathons on Tuesday evenings. But someone said
4-hour marathons. I'm sorry. That's what he's calling it, 4-hour marathons. Some people might call it a 4-hour snooze fest, but I don't know.
No comment.
Back to the video.
sent me a message. Someone sent me a message and said that, and I was like, "Oh, the hell no! That's not no."
We all know who that someone was, Ruby.
Yeah,
Ruby,
exactly.
we know who you are. You sent him the message. We're not. This is so funny how he's like, someone sent us a message.
Yeah, cloaking it all, like
yes,
we know.
Yeah, it's so mysterious.
Oh, that's no. Let me go make a clarification here.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the guy who gets on the tells somebody in somebody's ear and it goes down 10 people and comes out. That's one of those glitches, but that could happen.
Well, that's one reason.
That's slower.
Yeah, that's one reason why if something's said about me, I go straight to the source. So that's why I jumped on here because, I don't believe that Q is an ET. And in connection with that person that you mentioned, no, Q is not an ET. And anybody that comes out and says that they know who Q is, I wouldn't believe them at all because none of us know who the Q team is.
All I can do is look at him like he's just a greater form of what I left. But I hang around with him a little bit because we talk about current events and some issues politically that are happening. And I know also his background supports why he would buy into something like that. Because like going into any cult is trauma-based. I mean, that's how you fall into it, unless you're raised.
Speaking of cults, Apasta Dude, Q and that whole movement is like a cult. I mean, the fact that, first of all, that he is so offended that someone thought he believes that Q is ET, like that's such a crazy idea. That's hilarious to me. There's far more crazier ideas that Q is pushing out than someone saying, "Oh, maybe it's ET," right? I mean, that thing that's pretty funny to me. And then also bringing up the cult stuff. I agree. Like, Jimmy is literally unaware that he has joined another cult and doesn't know who he just said. Did he not say he doesn't know who Q is, right?
Right. And we're going to see how offended. I mean, you could tell he's like super on defense here, and he's offended. We're going to see how offended he gets.
In defense
And
of
defensive. Right. Exactly. In defense of people he
someone he
doesn't
doesn't know. Yes. It's crazy. Here we go.
Watchtower.
Yeah.
Is in it. I wasn't, and I
Yeah.
came right out of a trauma situation. So, yeah, no, I don't agree with him, but you can't argue with this guy. And I don't. I just go, no, I just hit him with some questions and it just stops him.
All right. Well, that's the only reason I jumped on is to make a clarification.
I'm glad you did that, man, because I wouldn't want anybody else thinking that wrong thing. I didn't mean
Yeah.
that.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for the person that let me know this. And I'm going back to my ball game. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
But
Nice.
Jimmy, one simple thing before you leave.
Sure. What?
Okay. Am I wrong, or do you not lean a little into the Q narrative?
Oh, I'm totally into the Q narrative.
Okay,
Totally.
well, and I never had to hear you say that just by listening, because I know from this guy, and he's not accurate. Don't get me wrong, but I know a lot about the Q narrative, and so and it's not crazy. There's a lot of things going on with white hats, etc. I know.
Yeah, I try not to mention it too much. Oh,
Yeah.
and I try to just to bring the information out that I've gotten from the Q boards. Because whenever I say, oh, this came from, the Q post or whatever, I immediately get attacked. I immediately get labeled. And it to me, it's, so it drives me crazy because most of the people that talk crap about it don't know anything about it.
Right.
And I've
you
had
can't blame him, Jimmy. There's a lot to know about it, and it's scary stuff,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there are also people that give you crap, Jimmy, that do know a lot about it, like me. People that went down the Q rabbit hole and were looking at the Q boards and all of that and realized early on that it was a psyop. So when you tell people, oh, it bothers me that people are attacking me because they don't even know what they're talking about, that's not true. That's not everybody. Yes, there are people like that just look at you, have never looked into Q and are like, oh, that's crazy. But there are some of us who have done the research and realize it,
And like what's his name? Apostle Dude. Like Apostle Dude said, there is, it's like any other group out there or cult, like, there is some truths mixed in with the lies.
Right. That's controlled opposition. Everyone that knows what controlled opposition is knows that they always mix in some truth with some lies. And that's what I think Trump is too. So it all goes hand in hand. All right, back to the clip.
Yeah, and what people don't understand is they think it was just some random thing and they don't know exactly what it is. So I'll just set the record straight. Basically, what the Q posts were designed to do were designed to give information out to the public that bypassed the mainstream media, that allowed people to take the information and go do research and dig on it and talk about it between ourselves or whatever and figure out what the heck is this thing talking about. It's
exactly though, but it's not random. It's planned out.
It's a rabbit hole. It's designed to be a rabbit hole. It's exactly what it is.
Right. But he acts like it's just a random thing that happened. It's like, no, this is a planned out. Q is a psyop that's well thought out, well planned out. And like you just said, it does lead you to go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole and rabbit hole. And I'm not against rabbit holes or going down them and learning information, but I am against learning your information from the Q boards. If that's like being a JW and saying, oh, well, the Watchtower and Awake said this, so it must be true. The Q boards is not research, Jimmy. That's not research. Okay. That's propaganda on a screen too. And the fact that he can't acknowledge that, it's sad. It really is, because he's
Yeah.
a smart guy. He really
I
is a
know.
smart guy. You know what I mean? Jimmy, you're a smart guy, and you're being duped by this. And as a friend, it's sad to see it. That's all I'm saying. It's very sad to see
It is. And the more time goes on, you can even kind of see the change in Jimmy. Like he used to be a lot more balanced, and now he's, up here defending
All
invisible
of this.
people.
Right. It's
Yeah,
almost like
all
it's
of this.
Yeah, it's almost like the movement has radicalized him a little bit.
Mm,
He's
I
got
feel
become
that.
very radical in his views, and like we've said, Trump can do no wrong. It doesn't matter. It's like, what is the line in the sand? What's it going to take, for you to realize it? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
All right, back to the clip.
Like putting a puzzle together. And I know that people say, well, they said this and they said that and it didn't happen. Well, that's where you have to drop the timelines and the dates. I don't do timelines and I don't do dates. I go on information. So
I'm sorry, that makes no sense. If Q drops information and tells you, for example, that the real inauguration is happening in March of 2020, and Biden really isn't the president, and Trump is really in control of the military, I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with timelines. When it comes and goes and they give you March 2020 and it doesn't happen, that's literally them telling you false information and you buying it, and it doesn't happen. Just like Nassar and
Who else
Jassara.
does that? Who else does that? Watchtower, 1975.
Yeah, giving
And
you new
before
dates.
that, it was several other dates.
Yes, giving you new dates to look forward to. Right. Just like they gave Jassara and Nassara. I talked about that in the last
Yeah.
World Stage discussion, but they literally told QAnons that they were going to have their mortgages and their debt removed, and that came and went. And here we are, and they're in more debt than we've ever been. Every American can at least admit we are in more debt now, even as individuals, with how everything is going, with everything's costing so much, than we've ever been ever. And as they used to say, Biden's America, which I thought was ridiculous, we can say, this is Trump's America. Woohoo!
Yeah. How long did you say this whole Q psyop has been going on? You said since 2017. So it started out on 4chan, though. Is that when it started on 4chan?
Right.
I think it
So
was
I
even
think it
before
even
that,
started
wasn't it?
before that. Yes, I think it
Yeah.
started before that. I feel like it started getting momentum in 2017, 2016, 2017. But I think people really, like the people like Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy knew about it until 2020, but I could be wrong, because I feel like he said in past things he's known about it for 5 years. So if that's the case, he woke up to the Q stuff in 2020.
Right, but see
So
how long it's really been going on, and it's just going
right.
on and on and on, and what's really happened.
I agree. And I give Jimmy credit for, looking into something and it helping him to wake up to the crazy stuff going on in the world. But he needs to, at one point, accept reality and realize that Q is the same kind of thing that he's been warned about by Q. All right. He needs to understand it's the same playbook, it's the same script, and it's okay to be grateful that Q helped him wake up and realize what was going on in the world. But it's time to say, hey, I'm grateful it woke me up, but yep, it's a psyop and we need to do something different.
Right.
Back to the clip.
example, there was a Q post that was put out on June 19th of 2018 or 2019. And it basically said, free Iran, freedom for the people. We stand with the people. The people must rise up in Iran. That was on June 19th, 2018. Now, if you were reading that post back then, you'd be like, well, what the hell does this have to do with anything right now? Well, what happened on June 19th, June 20th of this year? We had the situation in Iran. So that's what we call a delta. We call that what would that be? A 7-year delta? Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that's put out that has come true. And there's a lot.
That's so ridiculous right there. I have to say something about this. So because they said something 7 years ago and it came partially true, maybe not in the way they thought it was going to be, that's just ridiculous, because you could say the same thing for what? It's been 25, 30 years. They've been all saying how Iran is going to do something with nuclear weapons, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, we're all like, oh, great. It's got to be legit.
I'm also picking up on the the cult language. They have their own language. That's a Delta.
Yep, they all use that military because that's how Q operates. He has deceived them into thinking they're in the military, or these are the people that they don't know who they are. They're mysterious, but they're in the military, and so they use those Delta terms like Operation this and Operation that. Oh yeah, and I think that's part of it. It makes these people, QAnons and regular people like Jimmy, feel important because they're in the know and they're talking like military personnel. You know what I mean?
They're digital warriors.
Yeah, digital soldiers.
Digital soldiers, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot more is going to be happening. And especially with Iran, there were over 96 posts out of 4,400 some that specifically talked about the situation in Iran, the uranium one, their nuclear capabilities, and things like that. So it's only information. And for people to say, "Oh, well, you're just in a cult."
Jimmy,
okay.
may I ask you, Jimmy,
sure.
What's the utility of knowing that?
To educate people.
For what purpose?
To get them to understand what's going on so we can fight against it.
Well,
speak out against it. Any leaders that any of our congressmen or senators or anything that are involved in facilitating corruption, we can get rid of them.
Jimmy, they're all involved.
You're buying it. You're buying it all. And it's all fake. It's all a show, all of it, including Trump, including Q.
Yeah, you have to get rid of all of them, Jimmy. And I agree with that because they're all corrupt. But at the same time, they're never going to let that happen.
They just have people hanging on here, like to those Q drops.
I'm getting a kick out of how he's talking to Joe and Joe's talking to him. It's making me giggle because he seems annoyed. Like, you know.
Oh, well, he is annoyed. Yeah, he's cranked up. Yep.
To 100.
Okay. So it demands people being involved.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Everybody says, "Oh, the Q movement only, makes people trust of white hats or trust a savior." No, that's not what it does. It actually engages people. Because for me personally, if it wasn't for the Q post, I would not know half the crap I know.
All right, and there's what I said earlier. Jimmy, we appreciate that Q and that whole movement, that PSYOP woke you up, so you're more aware now, but it's time to realize that Q is also not your friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I would have been so lost with what was going on in this world. I would have been freaking out. And every time something happened in the news, I would get, fearful like most people do. I don't worry about anything right now. When those bombs dropped in Iran, didn't faze me one bit because I knew something was going to happen.
That's insane. Bombs have hit Iran. That causes problems in that country. I mean, think about if you're a citizen in Iran and your country is being bombed, you have an American like Jimmy saying, "I'm fine with that. I wasn't worried at all." Of course you're not worried. Yeah, it's not your problem. You're over here in America. And that's why I have told him before, if you're so rah Trump and rah, I'm cheering this on, then you people, you megatards need to go over there yourself and hang out with them and see how you like war. You don't care because you're here and it doesn't affect you in that way. I mean, it affects us economy wise and things like that. Of course, we know we do feel it in some ways than that way. But I'm saying the fear, he's saying he's not fearful. Well, that's great, Jimmy. Ask the Iranians, are they fearful? Ask the Gaza people, are they fearful? It's not happening to you. It's happening to them. And it's not right.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
But Jimmy, I know you don't have time now, but
Well, we're
Gail
okay.
said, can someone educate me on what Q is?
Oh man,
please.
Okay.
I know.
But this is so good.
I mean, I could give you the Cliff Note version. Hang on a second.
That's okay.
No, it's very easy. It's very easy. Basically, if you look up what Q clearance is, everybody's got a phone. Go Google what Q clearance is.
Okay.
All right, Q clearance is the highest classified military security clearances that you can get. Okay, that's one thing.
Okay.
All right, there's a group, and we don't know who they are. We have an idea, but nothing concrete. We do know that it's less than 10 people that know the Q post and are posted on the Q boards. 7 military, 3 non-military. That's all we know. We don't know who they are.
Sounds like Watchtower, 10 governing body members, right?
Because
And at
that's
one-
what they told you and you believe it.
Yeah, because at one point, JWs didn't know who the governing bodies members were either. Remember
Mhm.
that?
Yep.
So it's like, it's the same thing. You got these people behind the scenes and you're just believing everything they say to you.
Yeah. I mean, the
Culty.
comparison is like so clear.
Yeah. And he wonders why he gets accused of being in a cult. It's literally the
Mhm.
same.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when someone says, "Oh, well, you're just trusting one leader," no, because we don't even know who the freaking leader is.
Oh, that makes
And
it
so
fair.
that's why they try to say that it's a cult. The other thing is the whole phrase QAnon. That is bullcrap. That is a mainstream media creation to downplay and try to disparage the Q movement and the Q information. That was a creation of the mainstream because there is no QAnon. There is just Q, and the people that do the digging on the information that is provided are anons.
Okay. He is saying QAnon is not that's like a word like Q-tard or megatard. No, I'm sorry. QAnon came up because Q is anonymous. Anon
Right.
stands for anonymous. It's not a derogatory word, Jimmy. The reason why you take it derogatory is because people make fun of QAnons and they go QAnon, oh, it's just QAnon, this and that. Well, it is what it is. It's still that still makes sense. You know?
Right. Are the people who are posting not anonymous? He just said they're anonymous people. Nobody knows who they are. Yes, it's QAnon.
Right. And he also said that that's how you know they're not a cult because you don't know who they are. So wait, let me get this straight. If you know who they are, then they're in a cult. But if you don't know who the leaders are, then you're not in a cult? What? I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. Because like I said earlier, Watchtower for a long time did not have the governing body members were not famous. You didn't really know who they were. They stayed behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
and he also compared it to like one leader versus many. Well, you could say the same thing about Watchtower. They're still a cult, regardless of there being many governing body members. I mean, doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
And it is funny how Jimmy came on acting like he took, he's taking time out of his day. He's watching the baseball game and gives that whole thing. And then when they go, oh, well, you don't have to explain anything. I know you don't have time. He's like, no, but let me tell you everything.
Yep. Yeah.
It just cracks me up. Oh, Jimmy.
I'm an anon.
Okay.
So the QAnon is just a way for the media to try to, it's kind of like Watchtower calling all of us apostates. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And when you think of mainstream media, think of a CIA agent in every single one of them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so if these people, if these politicians, these people in power, members of, the deep state, if they weren't worried about it, if the mainstream media wasn't worried about it, then why the hell do they keep talking about it?
Because it's part of the show to get you guys fighting all the time, Jimmy.
Exactly.
Are you really asking that right now? Look at his face. He's smug. You see that?
Yes.
He's like,
That's
well,
because
then why?
he's in full belief of the system there. Full belief.
Oh, It's crazy. I mean, I'm answering your questions, Jimmy. That's why everything is literally a show. We've seen it. We've seen those clips where all the media is lined up one after another saying the same script. It's all controlled. So if you're asking, why are they causing this? Or why would they say this? Or why would they do this or target us? Because it's the same thing all across the board. They want you all fighting. And when you say, I'm a
Right.
non, okay, Jimmy, that's no different. Who cares? QAnon, Anon. What's the difference? How is one
Yeah.
way more offensive than the other?
Well, once
It makes
again,
sense.
it's like there's that line in the sand, like, oh, don't touch my QAnon. That hasn't been touched by CIA. No, not
Never.
Q.
No, never.
Everything else, yes. Trump
Of
and Q,
course.
no.
No, they're all good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yes.
Watchtower. If Watchtower wasn't scared of the apostates and the information that we put out there, why would they talk about us?
Yep.
Why would they say crap about us?
Well, see, they need us. They need us providing interest. If we don't provide interest, they have no power. So they have to keep us talking. They have to keep us engaged. They have to keep us interested.
See, well, there's I kind of agree with what he's saying right there. It's the same with the media.
Me
They
too.
have to keep us talking, right? So his thinking of Watchtower, that goes with the media, and going back to Jimmy's question of why would they be doing that? They want, like I said, they want to keep us talking. They want to keep us distracted. They want to keep us arguing. That's why.
Right. Keep you
Mhm.
engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll turn our backs and go do what we want to do.
Yeah,
Hold
and
on,
every abuser,
They have
every
no power
abuser,
without us. They have none.
I actually
need a
agree with
boogeyman,
Joe.
Joe.
This is crazy.
I've never agreed
Yeah.
with Joe
And
more.
so what? And the boogeyman for
I know. We actually agree with Joe. It's so funny. Wow. Joe, what do you know? He said something smart.
Watchtower
making
are the
sense.
apostates.
Exactly.
The boogeyman for the mainstream media is Q, because and I can put. I mean, maybe I can put it on my Facebook page, but because Facebook's been like, I try to put up links to the X-22 report. Facebook won't allow me to put the links up.
Do not get me started on the X-22 report. It is so full of Q nonsense. It's ridiculous.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. The X-22 report. It's totally full of, and if that's where he's getting his information from, which that's where he's getting his information from, along with all the Q board stuff, it's complete dupery.
Yeah, and he admits that in this video too. Like, that's where he's getting most of his information from.
Yeah. So when he tells you you're not doing your
Do your
research, he's just saying you're not going to the Q boards.
If you went to Q, you would know everything.
Yes. That's again like a JW saying you're not doing your research. You're not reading the Watchtower.
Read your Watchtower. Twinning.
Exactly.
Yeah, they block some of my stuff too.
Yeah. So Gail, I can privately send you.
They block all of our stuff, Gail. Jimmy, you know how much stuff of my stuff has been blocked? And I say different things that Jimmy says. It's like they censor all of us. I'm sure everyone has felt some form of censorship, especially since COVID happened. Both people on the left, right, and in between, we're all saying the same thing. It's not just QAnons being targeted, you know?
Right.
Where you can go look at the Q boards.
Oh, here
Okay.
we go.
And like I said, there's over 4,000 posts.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So for anybody to say that
That'll keep you busy.
they know what they all say, sorry, no, you don't, because you haven't looked at them. You probably haven't. You talk a lot of crap, but you haven't looked at one damn post. Sorry, I'm just being blunt. That's just how, because
He's the biggest crap talker there is. So that's hilarious coming from him, you know? And again, I'm going to say it again. Some of us have looked at it, Jimmy. We may not continue to look at it anymore because we're not being duped by it anymore. So we've realized it's a psyop. But
Mhm.
there are many of us that did look into it. I know many people who used to be where we go one, we go all, and it all sounds beautiful on paper. Yay, we're all united, but it's not what they're trying to make you think it is.
Right.
Oh, he's
He's like
so
trying to recruit Gail here too.
right. Well, his ego is showing because the way he talks, like he knows everything and we're all stupid. And if we just read the Q 4,000 posts and wasted our time doing that, we would know all and be all seeing.
It's like Joe was alluding to before. Like, that's going to suck all your time. That's what it's designed to do.
Yes. Yep.
They want you there reading that post and bing, you got to bing, bing every 5 minutes, like to with the
Keep you
new
distracted.
information. Yeah.
Yeah. Nailed it. That's exactly it.
That's how I feel. I've been on this stuff for 5 years.
Oh, there
and
it
I've
is.
seen it come. I've seen things happen that I'm like, holy crap, Q called it.
See, that's the other thing. Because Jimmy's only been aware of Q for the past 5 years, that's the other thing that needs to be made, the point being made, because if he was around even more, I would hope that by now he'd be more, realistic about it. But he's only been around paying attention to it since 2020. And some of us
Isn't that enough? 5 years is not enough.
Yes,
Like,
yes, I agree with that. But some of us, Jimmy, have
Mhm.
been involved or known and aware of it long before 2020. And you have the nerve to tell us you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Ugh. Puke.
So it's just information. That's all it is. It's literally all it is.
But you could say that about anything. Watchtower. It's literally just a watchtower. It's literally just information. That's just what it is, right?
Where does it come from, Jimmy? You don't know.
Yes, and it's harmful information, and I hate using that term because it's a big buzzword. But the reason I'm saying that is because it makes people wait around for something that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And while we're all
Right.
waiting and trusting the plan, and the white hats are in control, they're doing Palantir and putting in AI infrastructure and doing all this crazy stuff to push forward these agendas. And he's over there saying everything's going to be great and I'm not stressed out. I have no fear. Well, okay, Jimmy, but just give it a few more years, you know?
Right.
Oh,
Right. Just wait for paradise. Paradise is coming. Just around the corner.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Are you walking something? Are you walking a dog or something?
No, I'm just walking back and forth. That's what I do when I'm on the phone. That's what I do when I'm on the phone. I'm actually getting ready to go in here and take care of my possums.
Okay, I think that was all the important stuff. The way he gets so triggered, and that was the day after the Unrelenting Political Corner podcast, where he was.
Which, by the way, didn't you notice that they had the where we go one, where we go all
in the broadcast in the
whatever
beginning.
it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he was so worked up to the point where he's like saying he's gonna be ultra mega tonight, and he was like doing wardrobe changes and stuff. It was like, Jimmy, nobody cares. It'd be like someone, let's say Watchtower had merchandise where you could put Watchtower or whatever, and someone's like, I'm pro JW and I'm gonna look, I have my Watchtower hat and my Watchtower t-shirt.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I'm so offended. Like, I don't care what you're wearing.
Don't do that. You just make
and
yourself
actually,
look foolish.
the shirts, don't they have like some kind of? I'm trying to remember what they said, because they were like, some of them were like sort of insulting to people.
Oh, I'm sure
I thought-
a lot are. A lot of them are very insulting to people.
Hmm.
Okay, so all of this happened also too while Jimmy and I had our own interactions on Facebook. So
Mhm.
Jimmy likes to make everyone think that he's open to ideas and he's not going to be disrespectful of you, and if there's something you agree or disagree with, he'll just scroll on by and it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. But this week, let me share my screen here. All right, so after I think it was like the day after Trump, did the whole I'm going to be a tyrant and bomb this country or whatever.
Mhm.
I did this post on Facebook because the thing for me is as you guys know, if you watched our last world stage discussion, I'm not a blue versus red person. I'm not on team blue. I'm not on team red. So when this happened, my thinking in my mind was, okay, are we seeing it yet? Are we seeing that Trump is more of the same? Okay. So this post was meant for that. So what I said was, what a chess move the peacemaker puppet president is going along with and promoting war, more 5D chess BS, right? And then at the top there, it says, if one more Q person cheers on this nonsense, and I did the flip off emoji because I'm just fed up with
Done.
it. I'm
Yeah.
done. Like, it's literally to the point where put a fork in me. I'm done. Okay. So I posted this, and Jimmy could have, obviously we're Facebook friends, and he could have easily scrolled on by. Okay. Cause that's what I do to him. He made it very clear, like when we first became Facebook friends, that when there's topics we don't agree on, let's just scroll on by. We don't have to make an issue out of it. Right. Well,
Right.
Jimmy didn't take his own advice, because if you look here in the comments section, all right, one of the very first things he sends to me is this ridiculous meme.
Oh.
Yep, saying,
Yeah.
remember how we got here.
It's everybody else's fault.
Yes, Hillary supplied Iran with uranium to enrich their nuclear program, and Obama gave Iran 1.7 billion that they used to fund their nuclear program, and Biden, Dementia Joe, of course, unfroze, because of course he was in total control, over 16 billion of funds for Iran. So don't even blame this on Trump. I was like, are you kidding me, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's so ridiculous to just blame everyone else.
Right. And then he's like, facts, not feelings. So then, of course, my response here is, they are all puppets working for the same puppet masters, Jimmy. That means
Yeah.
zero, all your all of them, including Trump, they're all working for the same elitist POSs in the shadows, So I'm like, stop going along with it. He's not a good guy. He's a puppet Zionist, end of story. So, this goes back and forth for quite some time. He even gets involved. My aunt is like, talking and saying, Jimmy, you're being duped, and he's going on and on with my aunt Danielle, and that goes on for a while. The kicker too is, after our interactions,
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, this is free game. If you're going to come to my posts and engage on my posts, I'm going to do the same to you. So
Yes.
I'm gonna
Don't poke the bear.
yeah, it's like, I'm gonna say something. So after that, this prompted him to say, these facts, or it probably was around the same time. He said these facts need to be pounded into some folks' heads, especially when the D's, of course, it's the D's fault, right? The Democrats. When the
Of course.
D's start talking impeachment this week, how many of the uneducated will fall for that narrative, and how many even knew these facts? And if they know this stuff, I guarantee you they didn't give two poops about it, but now because it's DJT, they want to say something. Get the F out of here, right?
Hmm.
So of course, you're seeing these memes here about, again, pointing it back at the D's, right? So
Yeah.
under there, I commented again. I said, I don't agree with any of it, Jimmy. Both sides are just as dumb, pointing fingers
Yeah.
all the time, completely missing the point. And then I said, Trump, Clinton's, Obama's, Bush's, Biden's, they all work for the same puppet masters, So and then I said, wake up, please, and thank you, because I'm tired of him and other people pointing fingers back and forth when they're playing both sides,
Yeah,
So
and P.S., they're sitting back and laughing right now because all this engagement over what? Like, like for people going back and forth with it, it's the Republicans, it's the Democrats, they're all the
Mhm.
same. They're on the same side.
I had said this: until you all accept Trump is more of the same, you will all continue to be duped. They lie to us 24/7, but yet now all of a sudden they are telling us the truth about everything because Trump said so. I just can't with some of you anymore. Humanity on a whole is so utterly effed. hashtag trust the plan. And of course, the big words, it's interesting how alleged truthers can believe all the lies going on because Daddy Trump says it. And this is the thing. You claim, Jimmy, to be a truther. You claim to know what's going on, yet you are literally being duped over and over and over again by lies. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because it's all lies. It's all lies, not just selective.
Yes, not just one.
Only this is, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just one side is saying the lies. They're both lying to everyone. So I feel like that interaction between us got Jimmy really fired up with me. That led to this post where he says, I have absolutely no problem debating with someone who has a different viewpoint than me. I have proven that over and over again. I can and have been respectful in these situations. However, when someone tries to tell me what to believe or calls me a joke or a fool or who thinks they know me better than I know myself, well, it's time for that individual to go kick rocks. I will decide if and when my mind changes about things. And no matter how hard someone tries to get their words to come out of my mouth when I disagree with them, I'm telling you now, that won't happen. Please take your gaslighting and stereotypical attitude somewhere else. So
Gaslighting.
yeah. So that's crazy too, because he's literally projecting everything he was doing to me in all of these posts, behaving like I'm trying to force something. And I never even called him personally anything. Like, yeah, I do use the terms Q-tard and megatard because I'm at the point where I just don't care anymore. I used to be more tolerant and more patient of mega, and I used to be even tolerant of Q people. But now it's like you said, how many years has it been already? How much more do you need to see? So it's like, I don't even care anymore. They call people libtards and lefty loonies. And he constantly tells people they have TDS, which is pretty much calling people deranged, Trump deranged syndrome. So
exactly.
So he gets offended when I say Q-tards and megatards, but in all fairness, I didn't call him that specifically. I put that on my post and he took it that way.
He took it personally because are you that, Jimmy, then? Is that what you're saying? Are you
the
that?
shoe fits.
Just saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. It got really, really crazy to the point where I called him out because I was like, I know you're talking about me in this post. I know that you're specifically saying me, even on the political corner, when he was saying nobody has a right to tell me what to do. He was talking about me because we had that conversation and he literally said that to me. So when he 10 minutes later puts it on his wall and then I call him out,
obvious.
I say, yeah,
it's obvious. Like, hello.
Right.
10 minutes later, you run to the post.
Yes, exactly. And he tried to make it seem like it was from somebody at the last night's unrelenting political corner. But I'm like, no, Jimmy, I know you. If something bothers you and you're fired up, you're going to say something right away. You're not going to wait 24 hours or whatever after the political corner airs to say something.
Look how fast he jumped onto that Joe and Fran show. Okay. Is he going to wait?
No. So yes, so he was gaslighting me and telling me that my ego is getting in the way and that, oh, how dare I think that he's talking about me. It's like, Jimmy, it's because I'm not stupid. And we literally had this conversation like 10 minutes ago and then you went and posted about it, So I want to see if I have one more. Oh, this is I have to share this. Okay, hold on. So after we kind of went back and forth on that, this was the last thing. Last straw. Okay. After we went back and forth a few times, this is the crazy thing. Because at one point, Jimmy said, we're at an impasse. He said, Michelle, we're at an impasse. Let's just kind of like move on from it. And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like I consider you a friend. Like, I don't want this to ruin our complete friendship, whatever. So I was over it. I'm like, whatever. You post what you want on your wall. I'll post what I want on my wall. It's fine. Then he does this. He posts a picture of, like you said earlier when we talked about this, it's a PR stunt.
It's a PR stunt. Yeah.
Having Trump with his fake smile and his red tie standing next to these people like he is stopping destruction and violence. It says President Trump welcomed the foreign ministers of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo to the Oval Office to sign a historic peace agreement ending a 30-year conflict. Today, the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope. Oh, great. As you are bombing Iran. So don't look over here. Look over here. I'm a peacekeeper.
That's right. Yes.
No. So what does Jimmy do after we've had this conversation? And I'm like, let's move on. I agree with you. Then he does this. He tags me. He tags me right here and he says, Michelle, you usually have something to say. What's your thoughts on Trump helping to bring to end a 30-year war? Like, what did he think I was going to say, right? I'm all miraculously going to say, yay, Team Trump, right?
Oh, yeah, he is the peacemaker. He's not really doing anything in Iran.
Yeah. So I responded. I said, you want my thoughts on this? It's all a show. It's more look over here and don't look over here nonsense. I don't buy anything any of the puppet presidents are selling, and I don't believe they have any real power. None of them. Every president is a puppet. They are actors on a stage. That's what I think. And I don't hate Trump. How can I put the blame on a puppet for anything? Because he said in the post, all you Trump haters or whatever, if you hate Trump. So I said, he's just following what his puppet masters tell him to do. I don't trust him. Just like I don't trust the Bidens, Obamas, Clintons, and Bushes. I don't trust or believe anything they do or say. Anything they put on the world stage is not to be trusted. It's all planned out like a script. And I don't understand how you pick and choose what to believe is not a lie that they show us on the screen. Either they lie to us or they don't. You can't cherry pick the lies. It's all lies as far as I'm concerned. And they lie about everything. Promoting war out of one side of the mouth and then acting like they are promoting peace. What a joke. Those are my thoughts. And what does he respond?
I love that response.
Thank you. Taking a bow. So, but what is his response? He says, I figured that's what you would say. So then why did he ask? Right?
Right.
He's obviously instigating something, right? So
because he's going like this, baiting you. He's like,
yeah, but he's saying one thing out of his mouth. He's saying he doesn't mind if people have differing views. People should just scroll by, yada, yada, yada. But then now he's literally instigating this engagement, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I say to him, I'm blunt and to the point. You label that disrespectful because he calls me disrespectful. For some reason, this isn't airing in order because Facebook is weird. But he called me disrespectful and he said he had receipts. And I was like, you don't have to show receipts. I haven't denied that I ever used the term Q-tard or megatard. I've never denied I've used those terms. I have used those terms before. So I just said I'm blunt and to the point, and you label that disrespectful. I said, we will agree to disagree. With me, I'll always be straightforward with you. I won't sugarcoat things either. And I thought you appreciate that. I mean, isn't that what Jimmy's about? Hasn't he said he appreciates like honesty and this, almost like debates? He always like cheers it on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, I mean, you are working with Ruby Quinn. She is blunt as it gets and says some pretty off the wall things that could be viewed as disrespectful, but you don't seem to care about that. So as you said a few days ago, we are at an impasse. Okay. So then he starts making excuses saying being blunt is one thing. And yes, Ruby is blunt and I'm blunt too, but you don't see us calling people we disagree with names such as Q-tard and megatard. Shall I show the receipts again? He says, that's a difference that you seem to not be able to understand. So of course, he's still defending her here. And by the way, she does have some opinions that she strongly believes in that I disagree with. But again, she is not out there calling people names and making it personal.
Oh, yes.
She does, making it personal. How about the times that she's come at me when I was making comments in XGW Caleb's channel? She came at me on that. It's like, no, she takes things very personally. That is so hogwash. And then he's like, well, at least she's not doing that to me. Oh, there we go. See, he's saying at least she's not doing that to me.
Him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, which you have done several times. So in his mind, I've attacked him several times, which I have not, because I never
No.
called him to his face a Q-tard or megatard. That was my own personal Facebook post, which I have every right to speak my mind on Facebook, just like he does when he makes his posts about TDS and trolls and all the other things he likes to call people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he thinks he's so smart and has to give some kind of definition about bluntness. Okay. Sure. And then as if we continue on here, there's where he's
I
showing
just
the
gotta say
receipts.
one thing,
Yeah.
because once again, way before this, you gave him another opportunity to be at that impasse and let it go, but he couldn't let it go.
Yeah, he couldn't let it go. That's why I'm feeling like
Again.
he's so obsessed with all of this. He can't
Yeah.
not think about anything else, you know? So then I said to him, because he's accusing me of being disrespectful, right? And stuff, and that him and Ruby never use, call people names. So I said, are you being serious right now? Have you forgotten that you use the term TDS at every turn and you are calling people deranged? Also, you have used other terms like trolls, libtards, lefty loons. Ruby has used soy boy and so much more. Let's keep it real here. So to say it's disrespectful to call people out using Q-tard and megatard is just silly. The truth hurts. And I've never denied that I've used those terms. I'm at the point where I'm absolutely sick and tired of people defending Trump like he's different. He is not. It's foolery. And if you're going to act like a Q-tard and a megatard, I'm going to call you out on it. At least I'm real with you and not fake. And then I left the receipts because he showed receipts. I left the clip on my World as a Stage YouTube that shows when we had that rant with Jake Altworldly on there. And in that rant, Ruby calls Jake pussy and all kinds of,
Yeah, she was off the hook that night. I remember.
Yep. And and I'm not saying I'm against, I am totally for free speech. I am not saying I have a problem with that. What I'm saying is that if Jimmy's going to come at me and say that I'm doing this and that, and then saying that they're not doing this and that when they are doing this and that, I'm going to show you this and that. Okay. I'm going to show you the receipts. So anyways, he also said that he accused me of harm, that I'm trying to harm mega people. And he said, I've never used the word deranged. I call someone a troll when that is exactly what they're doing. Oh, but that's okay. Well, hey, Jimmy.
Well, no, TDS is Trump derangement syndrome. You are telling them they are deranged people.
Right. And I could use the same logic he's using. Hey, Jimmy, when you're acting like a Q-tard and when you're acting like a megatard, I'm just calling it out there because he's saying it right there. He's like, I call someone a troll when that is exactly what they're doing. Well, you're acting like a Q-tard. You're acting like you're delusional and completely duped and like your brain isn't working. So I'm doing the same thing. How is it any different than what you do to everybody? Okay. And then he says, I only come back on someone if they start something with me. Oh, well, I've got receipts, Jimmy, because you started something with me. I didn't say anything to you until you came onto my Facebook and you had to show that stupid meme about Hillary or whatever. And then the rest is history. So don't tell me like he's gaslighting me. Like I'm the one that started all this when I didn't. He just got offended because I said something on my post he didn't like, right? If the shoe fits. It's back to that. So then he said, you talk a lot about trying to work together so humanity can be better off. Please tell me how many people would be willing to do that with you, knowing that if they disagree with you, you would personally attack them and wish them harm. He's saying I am wishing people harm. So then I was like, I don't wish anyone harm. What are you talking about? And then I said, calling someone foolish is not wishing anyone harm. Okay. And then I said, my views are, we can't do much if we continually are being duped by the false fake narrative of Trump being different. That's what I'm saying. Like if we're supposed to work as humanity and get through this, we have to accept the reality of who Trump is so then we can move on and actually do something about what's going on, Right. So then I did call him out and say, you say that you only come back on someone, but you started this whole thing. You could have scrolled on by, but you didn't. Have you forgotten about that? So then he's telling me, go read your post again. You insinuated all Trumpers need to be sent to Iran. And so then I clarified that. I said, If you are cheering on war, then you need to go over there yourselves for a reality check. That's what I meant. Did that go over your head? People who cheer on war should go over there. I stand by what I said, because you wouldn't be cheering it on or agreeing with it if you yourselves have to go over there. Get it? It's the same idea that you and I have said about Ruby and all of her crazy ideas that sound like Handmaid's Tale. If
Yeah.
that came to fruition and she was forced to live that life, I don't think she would be saying that stuff.
Right. It's very
Right?
easy to say those things if you're not in it.
Exactly. So after all this interaction, I pretty much said, you know what? This is absolutely ridiculous. You said you were at an impasse with me and then tagged me to argue. Why? Maybe it's you that needs to self-reflect and look in the mirror, because he was saying that throughout our interactions, that I need to look in the mirror and stuff like that. I said, why
Mm.
are you creating issues between us? Just let it be. We won't ever agree on Trump, obviously. So I'm not going to engage with you any further. Please don't tag me in any of this political BS anymore. Please and thank you. And I haven't seen this reply, because after I said that,
Mhm.
I stopped engaging and I turned off the notifications for that post. So for this podcast, this is the first time I'm seeing his response.
Oh, so he did respond.
Yeah, of course he did. Jimmy needs the last word. Don't you know that?
Yeah. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, and I'm not going to respond to it, but let's read it here. Do you know how many other countries were happy with taking out Iran's nuclear capabilities? It wasn't just Trump supporters. Should everyone that was happy about that around the world be sent to Iran? Yes, I stand by what I said. Yes, if you are cheering on war, you don't know what you're talking about. You should be sent there. Yes. He said, you pigeonhole folks without seeing the bigger picture. No, I don't like war. Knowing that is a tactic that is used for profit, power, and control. Oh, really, Jimmy? I know. But to have a strike on a rogue regime with a destructive ideology that keeps a nuclear weapon out of
Oh
their
my
hands,
God.
yes, I will cheer that. Wow. That is
How
literally
does he know they even have any? Like, there is. It's just.
Well,
I
that's
don't-
literally propaganda. They have been telling us for years and years, 25 plus years, that they're creating
It-
nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
We have to do that. We have to get them. I mean, they've been
Didn't they
saying
do
that
the
whole time.
same thing in Iraq too? I mean, hello.
Yeah. And how many other countries have nuclear weapons? And should anyone have nuclear weapons? I mean,
Yeah.
why is it just
It's only
one?
okay if certain countries have nuclear
Yeah.
weapons for some reason. I don't know.
They want us to be on board because they're putting that propaganda out there all the time about how some Iranians are saying death to America.
That's true.
Well,
America. Yeah.
a lot of people say that stuff. Even Americans are not happy with America. I'm not happy with our government. Death to our government. I don't like
Yeah.
the government. So
Yeah.
it's not just Iranians. So I don't agree. I just don't agree. And what did he say at the end? He said, I love to have a good debate as long as it's respectful. Are you bowing out because you are unable to do that? Honest
Oh my
question.
God. He just can't.
Yeah, no, honest question, because if so, I would grant your request to not tag you on things. Can you believe that? What
So
he
he's
should.
basically saying, he's
Mhm.
saying, as long as you'll admit that you can't be respectful, just admit that, then he'll stop. Like, what?
What? No. Guess what, Jimmy? You're going to stop because I'm telling you you're going to stop, and I'm not going to talk to you or get
Yeah.
triggered or anything. You're not going to, you can tag me if you want and be disrespectful, because that's a form of disrespect. If someone asks you nicely to not tag anymore and says, hey, I don't want to have issues with you, please don't tag me. Let's just realize we both disagree on this subject. And then you say, oh, I'm going to tag you until you do what I feel or say it how you want to say it. That's disrespectful. I would never
Mhm.
do that to Jimmy. I would never do that to anybody. And I have never tagged Jimmy in anything, even though I know that there are certain things I could tag him in, but I wouldn't do that to him. You know?
This is why I just say he's gotten really extreme.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know,
It's
can't,
sad.
it's like he can't control himself anymore. Like, he's so worked up. You can see how worked up he got over there on
Mm-hmm.
the video. And then come to Facebook, it's the same exact thing. Like, I don't know, he's just at level 1,000
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. And I really hope he can figure it out eventually. I really hope that he can see that Trump isn't who he thinks he is and Q isn't who he thinks they are. Because like I said earlier, he's a smart guy and I know he has a good heart and I know that he wants to help
Mhm.
people. Cause I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like that. Like I resonate with him on so many things, on wanting to help people. And I mean, that's why we started this podcast. You and I both have that passion to help people. Always,
Right.
why would we even be here talking about this stuff?
Yeah.
You know?
And we
So
don't want it to escalate like that to this
no,
point, because then at this point it's just going to be
they're
feeding to the
winning.
same. And yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes, they're winning. If we continue to do this and divide and get so upset over these things, they're just winning, like you said.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do we have any final thoughts on this? Because I think the final message here for me is what we just said. This whole thing that's been happening is continuous, same playbook to keep us divided. And people who were once friends, I mean, we saw it during COVID. We've seen it through multiple different things that have been going on, George Floyd, all of it. It's just all the same stuff to continue to divide people, friends and families, just like Watchtower. I mean, oh
Yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
dividing us by stuff. So I don't
Yeah.
know, just my thoughts are like, I just don't want us to be divided with any of us. And like, I can respect people's feelings and stuff like that, but people also have to respect my feelings, and I am only human. And sometimes I can't take it anymore. And I'm at this point where I use Q-tard and Megatard, and I'm sorry if that offends you or upsets you, but I'm sick of it. And I need you guys to wake up. I really do, because we need each other and we're more
Yeah.
powerful together as humanity. And if we can't get our shit together, we're effed. That's my final thoughts. What are yours?
Wow, that's pretty powerful and true. I don't know what I can say after that.
It's like the saying, it's a hard act to follow.
The only thing is, like, I absolutely have love for Jimmy, and I think
Me
that he
too.
does teach people things. It's just that, like, once again, it's that he's drawn a line for Trump for some reason, and for Q, and I wish that he would just wake up and realize that he's looking outside himself still. He's still out there waiting for other people, and it's not about that.
It's within.
Yeah.
It's all of us within and working together. And that
Yeah.
also it reminds me, Operation Spotlight. I wanted to talk about that before
Oh, yeah.
we go. There's another thing that should be proving to Jimmy. When I did that, I wasn't a Trumper. When I was like,
Mhm.
I'll join in this. It was more or less to show camaraderie and unity and show that I do care. But at the same time, I was thinking, I'm gonna send these letters, but I don't think Trump's gonna do anything about it. And that's why I did the blue envelope where it was more noticeable, and I put avoidjw.org, and I put what did I say on the outside? Something about Watchtower is against humans' rights or something. I put a message on the outside of the bunch of ones that I sent. So maybe
Right.
the post office or whoever's delivering the mail would get the message, and maybe
Yeah.
they'll see. That was my thing. And like I said, camaraderie, just like saying, hey, Jimmy, I'm with you on the message. I agree with you. I want a better world. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, it's not going to go anywhere with Trump.
Yeah,
What
it's
were
not
you
gonna happen.
thinking? Yeah. Were you thinking the same thing when it
Yeah,
was going?
absolutely. I mean,
Mhm.
and look what happened. Like,
Zero.
when
Nothing.
the opportunity came for him to do something for the children in Washington State, what did he do? He sent the Department of Justice after them to I
Right.
mean,
His administration. His
yes.
administration. Because we got to say this, because everyone always is like Biden's administration, Trump's
Mhm.
administration. They literally are going against it. So
Yep.
it was like for a waste. And that's sad.
Right.
But we all need to understand it. And everyone that thinks that Trump is going to make a difference, we need a reality check, because what we're doing is we're wasting our time and energy into something that's not going to go anywhere. We need a new plan. The white hats aren't in control. Trump doesn't care. We need
Yes.
a new plan. Start over, you know?
And it starts with us. And I would say to Jimmy that nobody's telling you what to believe. We're just asking you to look at all the facts. Look at the bad side too. You're not looking at the bad side at all.
Yeah.
Like you're defending and only pushing out the good stuff. And it's,
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. I want to make that very clear to Jimmy. I'm not telling you if you want to be on the Trump train and ride it off a freaking cliff, that's your choice. I'm not telling you not to do that. But I'm still going to say it's foolery. I'm still going to say my opinion on it. I'm still going to say I think it's ridiculous that you're doing that and that I think you're wasting a whole bunch of time putting your eggs in a basket that's going nowhere. And if you were to be more clear on it and realize what's really going on, we would be more powerful and we could do something that actually might matter. That's all. But go ahead, waste your time as long as you want riding that train. And I can say this too.
5 years on the Q train so far.
Right. I can
so-
say this too. I'm going to say this because I know people think we're Ruby haters. And I know that Ruby and Jimmy both think we're haters or whatever. But I'm going to here we go. Let's give Ruby a round of applause for getting off the Trump train. Like, she's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ruby.
Good for you, Ruby. Good for
job.
you.
See, she sees it.
Yeah, I mean, there's still things. She's got a ways to go, but I feel like, and that's why we've said she's a smart girl. You said it in one of our podcasts. Like, we don't think that Ruby is not a smart girl. We think she's a smart girl. We just think that she's young and is inexperienced. And right now she's, collabing with Jimmy, and Jimmy still is also not there. So it's like two blind people leading themselves places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I mean, in a sense, we're all blind, but I don't know.
Well, some are more blind than others.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just here to help, and we're just here, like Jimmy says, we're just sharing information. Take it or leave it.
That's right.
So, all right, I think I've said everything I need to say. So,
Exhale. That's a wrap.
Yes, it's a wrap. All right. Well, until next time.
Okay.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.